What's up, barbecue fans? My name's Jake, and today we're talking about my top 10 essential barbecue tools for the Backyard Pitmaster. Whether you've been doing this for a while or you're just trying to step up your game, there's going to be something on this list that you might not have thought of. And at the end, I'm going to share a very important piece of information. But before we get to that, let's look at number one. Now, I'm going to do these in pretty much the order that you would use them. And first off, we got to start a fire. There's no better way to do that than a grill gun. You guys have seen me use this tons of times on my Komodo Joe, use it on my offset, I use it on my wood-fired oven, and on the weekend when I'm gonna have a fire, I use it for that too. So this is hands down the quickest way to start a fire. I resisted getting one for a long time, and when I finally broke down and bought one, I was super happy that I did, because once you have one, you just love saving time with it. The other thing they have here is the sous vide gun. You guys have seen me use this as well. It's a little toned down version of it, but it allows you to get that nice crust on a piece of meat. Once your fire's going, you've got to prep your meat. Sometimes you've probably done this the night before, but number two is a good quality knife. You're gonna need a couple knives. First and foremost, you're gonna need a good fillet or boning knife. Semi-flexible is usually nice to have. Now these are Wusthof classic icons. I bought these over time, right? These are expensive knives. I want to say that this knife alone is probably 170 bucks. But a knife is something that if you buy a good quality knife, it's going to last you a long time. I have no affiliation with Wusthof. I bought these long before I had a barbecue channel, but they are high quality knife. I've been toying with the ideas of getting into some of the Japanese knives just because they're super pretty, but these do the job, and as long as you take care of them and sharpen them properly, they will last you a lifetime. The other thing you'll need is just a chef's knife, right? This is, I think, the 10-inch version. I also have a 6-inch version that's nice to use. All depends what you're doing. And then you need something to slice your briskets. And this thing is amazing. This does great on briskets and ribs. It's called the Super Slicer from Wusthof, and it is a serrated edge, but it just tears through meat. It leaves a nice clean cut, so when you're doing ribs, you can cut your individual ribs up, no problem, and nice clean slices for a brisket. Number three, nitrile gloves. Now, these come in super handy for many things. I use them if I gotta go out and do some gardening real quick, or pull some weeds or something like that so I don't get my fingers dirty. I also use them when I wash my vehicles. Keeps your hands clean, but more importantly, there's a lot of chemicals that you use when you clean your cars, and I don't want that going into my body, so I always have a couple pairs of gloves on me, and when I'm drying my car, I'm not leaving oily fingerprints all over after I just spent 2 hours washing my car, right? But in barbecue, these are handy for prep, and if you ever notice, when I'm trimming my meat, I usually have one of these on my left hand and I have the knife in my right hand and I don't have a glove on. The real reason for that is I want to have full control over my knife, and sometimes these get a little slippery once you get some fat and grease on them. So I like to maintain control over my knife, but these are great. You can prep, handle a lot of meat, and this company here, CSP, you can buy a case with my discount below, 40% discount for like 90 bucks, a case of 1,000. They don't expire. Don't buy them by the single boxes, buy a case of them, because you will go through them. And don't forget, when you're washing your car, it's good health-wise to use something like this so you don't get all the chemicals in your skin. Number four is a good spray bottle. You guys ask me where I got this all the time, just from Amazon. I think it's 15 bucks, right? 50-50 water, apple cider vinegar is typically my go-to. Sometimes I just use water, but this is great because you can put in as much or as little as you need. The one thing I noticed about this, if you leave the vinegar in there for a couple weeks, it gets a little weird. So typically I mix up as much as I need for that particular cook, and then when I'm done, I rinse it out. Pro tip, fill it up with some hot soapy water, pump it, and clean out the whole nozzle mechanism. If you don't, over time it'll get gummed up and then it won't work and you'll throw it out and have to buy a new one. Number five is a good instant read thermometer. This is my Chef Temp X10. Instant read thermometers serve two purposes. First and foremost, we want to be able to check the temperature of whatever we're cooking, right? If you're cooking chicken or you're cooking steak, like steaks, people are like, oh, you can do this, you can do this. Like, look, you're not gonna get it right, all right? This gives you the exact temperature. This will help you nail a steak and pull off chicken at the perfect time so you still end up with some juicy chicken. Additionally, if you're cooking briskets or pork butts, ribs, this is a great probing tool, right? All meat cooks differently, and sometimes you've got to push it up past the temperature you were expecting to get that tenderness that you want. And as you use this as a probe for your meat, it should feel like warm peanut butter, almost no give at all, right? So get yourself a good instant read. It will improve your barbecue dramatically. Now that your meat's up to temperature, it's time to pull it off, and you don't want to burn your hands. Number 6 is cotton gloves. Now, you guys ask me about these frequently. Actually, you see, usually in the shot, I've already got the black glove on, and you're wondering what's on underneath. I mean, these are just white cotton gloves. They're inexpensive to buy, but essentially what happens here, you just put the glove on over top, and now you can pick things up. You've got some insulation there. You're not going to burn your hands, and when you're done, you just pull off the black glove, and away you go. These will get dirty, but the great thing is that you can just throw them in the washing machine and wash them. Usually they come in packs of like 3s or 10s, and they definitely come in super handy. Number 7 and 8, all depends what you're cooking, but in this video, number 7 is heavy duty aluminum foil. You're gonna use this to wrap your butts, maybe your ribs, maybe your brisket, maybe you're foil bolting or you're pulling off the Goldie's method, but this is a great roll because it's large, width-wise, and the amount that you get, and it's a great price if you get it from Costco. It's got a good cutter here, but it's super easy to roll out. It's on a really nice rolling system in here, and if you pick it up from Costco, it's pretty darn cheap. Number 8, you see people use this all the time. Wrapping a brisket, that is butcher paper, right? You see people wrap briskets in this all the time. This is a roll from Yoder, but it's nice and wide and comes in super handy. If you wrap a brisket with foil during a cook, it does speed up the cook, but it does break down or soften your bark a little bit. You work very hard for it, and foil tends to take it a step back. If you're wrapping paper, it's semi-breathable, so what happens is you still get to protect your brisket and speed it up a little bit, but you save your bark. Number 8.5, not originally on my list, but you need some good weather. We've got some storm clouds coming in. Looks like it's gonna pour, and it's no fun to barbecue in the rain. Number 9, this is a plastic bottle. It's got a kind of like a condiment bottle is what it is really. But these ones are great because they've got a lid on them. I guess it's not really a lid, but I don't know. Whatever you call this thing, you can close it, right? But put in some barbecue sauce, some honey, some apple cider vinegar. Maybe you're thinning it out. Maybe it's some beer. Maybe it's some rum. Who knows? But you can really give this a really good shake. And the great thing about these things is that they don't stain. I've used these probably 20 or 30 times with different sauces in them. They still look brand new. I got a 3-pack, I think, for 10 bucks. So highly recommend these. It just makes it way easier to put a barbecue sauce or something on your meat. Number 10, patience. The one thing about social media is that everyone has an amazing life, apparently. And with YouTube, everyone's cooks are perfect, right? That's not real life. Even people who have been doing it many, many years. I mean, I've been doing barbecue for like 25, 30 years at this point. And you know, the one thing that YouTube has done for me is it's really caused me to push my boundaries and learn new things, because lots of times you learn how to make a brisket once and you knock out of the park like, that's it, that's my go-to. You never try new things. So YouTube has really pushed me to try new things. I can't do the same videos all the time. So it's been really great that way. But overall, you've got to have patience. You're gonna make mistakes. You've got to make the mistake to learn from it. YouTube doesn't translate well for barbecue. I mean, I share as much as I can, so does everybody else, but when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, you've really, really got to just do it and learn from your mistakes, do some trial and error, and at the end of it, after a bunch of effort and hard work, you're going to start turning out amazing barbecue. Looks like 8.5 is coming in quick. It's getting real windy. So we're going to wrap this video up. Everything I talked about today is in the links down below. Additionally, I've got a 25K giveaway in the description. Grill Blazer Grill Gun is giving away a free grill gun as part of the contest. So if you're not signed up for that, sign up for that. If you learned something, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe while you're down there. Thanks as always for watching. I'll see you soon.